sick. This is Mia Robinson, of course, with Sickle Cell Awareness 365, and I have my guest co-host with me, Antonio
How
Thomas.
you doing, Mia?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming and hanging with me today, Aunt, as I affectionately called you. So today we're going to talk about COVID and the family struggle. We call it that because it's been quite some adjustment being around, especially if you have a large family. It's been an adjustment trying to just be social, and we have all these social restrictions. We are still in a pandemic. Georgia's wide open now, but we're going to get to that a little bit later. But first, I want you guys to just listen to a little bit of Antonio's story, and then we'll get into like what has been our struggle with kind of adapting to this new way of living, so to speak. So, of course, Aunt, you have sickle cell, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what type do you have?
SS.
SS. So I like to kind of get a history of how you dealt with it as a kid up until now. So,
Okay.
as a kid, what type of issues did you have? Were you sick a lot? Because it varies, of course, from person to person.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Um, it kind of varies for me because I didn't really have any major surgeries. Um, I rarely was in the hospital. I've only had pneumonia probably like maybe 2 or 3 times. So as a child, I probably had a normal childhood, basically. I had monthly transfusions when I was going to CHOA. Basically, that's pretty it. One of my biggest supporters was the Sickle Cell Foundation and Camp New Hope, so that was a big deal for me in my childhood.
That definitely was a stepping stone for a lot of us with Camp New Hope. So what about your transition, like when you had to leave CHOA and go into adult care? How was that process?
Um, it was a kind of just a springboard process because of the simple fact like I really didn't get a thorough introduction into transitioning. All I got was okay, here's this hospital, here's this adult hospital, this is what you have to go through, this is where you come for your acute care, all that kind of things. Um, for me, I wish you could have had a little bit more introduction as we got older because then it would have made the transition a little bit more easier because transitioning from a children's hospital to adult hospital at the age of like what 17 the earliest is kind of nerve-wracking because you in a new atmosphere, you dealing with new nurses, new doctors, new procedures. It's not so more of a consoling atmosphere no more as you get when you at CHOA or a children's hospital.
Agreed. And I hear that issue a lot with um, the transition from children's to adult. And I'm thinking it's changing a little bit. You got to be the change that you want to see.
Right.
So
I mean,
I'm
we
thinking
the
that it's
future.
changing.
We the future. So
Yeah,
it's better now because we get to show from our experiences to the younger generation like what we went through. So I can say
yeah,
I'm proud of that.
yeah, that's true. So, we're in this crazy times and we have to take these safety precautions. We had to take these safety precautions
Right.
before COVID because, of course, with sickle cell, any type of infection, any type of virus can put us down
Mm-hmm.
and can be very costly to us. So, we had to take precautions beforehand.
Right.
Some people were wearing the mask and having hand sanitizer way before COVID got
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
What type of like safety precautions were you taking even before all of this happened?
Well, before COVID, I'm a natural introvert, so I really don't like people anyway. So I
Okay.
really was distant from a lot of people already. Um, but not on a serious note, for restaurants like outings like that, I always ask for plastic. I really do not like going to any restaurant using their own silverware. I always ask for plastic silverwares, knives, forks, whatever the case may be. Same thing with the cups as well too. I don't like drinking out of just like their own cups. I ask for like a plastic cup or a styrofoam cup. If they don't have that, then I'll just ask for a straw.
So what made you start doing that to begin with? Like just that's just you?
Just I don't know, just me and my habit, just knowing what goes on in the restaurant business and what goes on behind closed doors. So just having that thought in the back of my mind, because I used to work for a restaurant, so I kind of know how the cleaning process is, and it just made me like, nah.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So was your family like, did they do a lot of outings before COVID? Like for me, if anyone has followed my Facebook page, y'all know we turn up. The Robinsons turn up. It doesn't matter if it's a holiday, if it's somebody's birthday. That's just what we do. We just get together. We love on each other, and that's just us. Were you guys that type of family? Do you have a big family here in Georgia?
No. Unfortunately, my family's a small family here in Georgia. We're spread out across Georgia and also other parts of the U.S. But for my family members here, we did try to keep close, tight knit. Um, as far as before COVID, I mean, we basically did the same thing every other family members did, but kind of now, COVID kind of changed kind of things.
Yeah. We actually started doing weekly Zoom calls, which have been super helpful at keeping in touch with everybody. A lot of us speak to each other often anyway, if not every day, almost every day.
Right.
So we keep in touch that way. But as for the other parts of us, my grandma had like 9 kids.
Okay.
So when I was younger, it was my aunts and uncles, all the cousins. We all are together.
Okay.
Like, we don't really know what social distancing and small gatherings are.
You have a big family like that? Hey.
Yeah. Just the immediate family is, a small gathering, we don't know what that is. So Zoom has been really helpful, even though it's annoying.
Okay.
It's been really helpful for us to kind of stay in touch with each other. So that's been the good part about all of this. So what has been like one of the most trying things trying to adapt to COVID for yourself, not even explaining what's going on with your family? What has been the biggest thing for you to kind of adapt? You said you were already an introvert, so what kind of changed for you?
Work life. Work life has kind of altered the way I move. Because before, a lot of companies and a lot of jobs didn't know how to deal with me and my condition, So anyone with sickle cell knows that. Yeah, but when COVID hit, it just made it a little bit more difficult because they're like, okay, so are you gonna come to work even though we got this whole pandemic going on? I already have a pre-existing disorder, so what makes you think I'm gonna come in during a whole pandemic? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to learn. 2020 and 2021 made me learn how to adjust as far as being more creative when it comes to income and stuff like that, and not so relying on corporate America or just a job period.
Yeah.
So I guess that. Then also with my friends, I have a good little support system of friends, and then I've also lost some friends through the pandemic due to the fact that my group of friends used to like to be on the go so much.
Yeah.
So I had to drop a couple of friends just because they didn't understand me and my condition. Me wanted me to just stay home because me and my paranoia of what's going on in the pandemic. So.
And that's a good point about the paranoia, because I know my anxiety level has been like off the chain with everything. I kind of feel like COVID is everywhere. We can't get away from it. At this point, it's kind of either like you're going to either get COVID or you get the vaccination.
Right.
And that may not necessarily be true. That's just how I feel. But I can definitely say my anxiety level has been off the chain when it comes to just leaving the house, to be honest.
Right.
Or even having people come into the house, because we're still having to get stuff done to the house, just the upkeep and maintenance of the house. And it's like, who are these people? Where are they coming from?
Same.
Sanitize your hands, put your mask on,
Right.
So that anxiety level has been off the chain. And I know we're not the only ones who've been dealing with that. Also, let me say this as well. If you guys want to contribute to the conversation, please call in at 470-251-4647. That's 470-251-4647. So you said you had to drop some friends because they didn't really understand the severity. Was that how did that conversation go? Was it like, look, dog, we can't even be friends no more, or we can't hang out? Like, how did that conversation go with your friends?
um, for me, I know who genuinely cares about me.
Yeah.
So as an adult, so I know. Um, for me, I just let it play out how to play out because I know who my real friends are. My real friends are gonna worry about me being just out period for 5 minutes. Just calling me like, hey, why are you out? What are you doing? You got your mask? Stuff like that. So those I've already know like, okay, they care about me enough. But the ones that I had to drop off, the ones that kept calling me saying, hey, let's go out, let's go do this, let's do that, not thinking, okay, he has a pre-existing disorder. I don't want him to bring him out every weekend or
Yeah.
for a long period of time, for hours or whatever. So I just let it play out for myself. I
Yeah.
mean, hey, I put it in God's hands. So,
Yeah, and I think that's a good point in just setting boundaries with friends and family. I know, I really think we as people living with sickle cell have a huge heart, and we try to do a lot for everybody else, and sometimes it's hard to say no,
yeah,
but
man, listen.
but for me, 2020 and 2021 has definitely been a lesson of setting boundaries. Not only setting boundaries, but standing firm in those boundaries. Because it's like, hey, y'all don't really understand what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, it's like, if I get sick, I can't even call you to bring me something to eat
Right.
or, whatever. So it's definitely taught me more about standing firm in those boundaries, and that's with friends and family.
Yeah.
And I have gotten to a point where it's like you can feel how you want to feel about it, but at the end of the day,
Yeah, you gotta prioritize yourself first. Yourself
exactly,
and your health and your mental space first.
exactly. So, um, you mentioned the support system. You know
Right.
who your real friends are
Mm-hmm.
and your family. So, has it been troubling, kind of telling your family like, hey, I can't do this, or I have to do this a certain type of way because this is for real, for real? Like, has it been, how has
It's a
that
daily struggle
yeah,
because family is family. Those are your loved ones. You never want to say no to them, but sometimes you have to put yourself first. So it's a daily struggle. It just depends on the situation. Um, for me, I know my family loves me and I know they care about me. You know what I'm saying? And I know I can be a big deal. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to sickle cell.
yeah,
It's frustrating. I get it. It's always something every day. But at the same time, I have to realize like, okay, I can't I can't put their needs first before mine.
yeah,
I have to put my needs first to make sure that I'm able to do whatever they need me to do.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, um, so yeah, I mean, it's a daily struggle. It just depends on the situation, really.
it is. I completely agree. um for me, some of we've still had some events. Of course, we've cut back on things, but we've also lost family members due to COVID and not due to COVID, but still within this COVID time.
Right.
Um, and it's really, really been a struggle for me to. We are huggers,
Yes.
so and I know that sent my anxiety through the roof because like I want to hug on
You
my
want to hug, you
family.
want to love on them, but
Yes,
you just can't
but
do it.
at the same time, I'm like, I know y'all been here and y'all been this place and y'all are more exposed and y'all can do that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really difficult trying to limit myself and even trying to explain um, why I can't do a certain thing. I was at a birthday party a couple months ago, and people want to take pictures and all this other stuff, and that's
Right.
cool. But it was like, take your mask off. No, you either gonna get this picture with the mask on, or we not gonna take pictures, or we not gonna take pictures. Simple as that. But they really have, because they don't have to worry so much
Yeah.
to the degree that we do. It's been a huge issue trying to explain that, and I don't think necessarily we can get them to understand to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we can get them to be maybe a little bit more compassionate and empathetic to
Right.
what we're going through.
Right. I got you.
So that's been one of my biggest deals with just trying to deal with family and deal with all this pandemic stuff.
Hmm.
So now that Georgia is wide open,
Lord.
how do you plan to deal with it now? Because we're still dealing with COVID.
um,
Are you more considering the vaccination now, or like, what's your thoughts on going forward now that Georgia's wide open and it's like whatever now?
well, Georgia's been wide open before, so, but um,
It's officially it's
yeah,
official now.
yeah, it's official now. Um, one of my biggest worries was my loved ones, being around certain people.
Yeah.
Because you never can control who they're around, but you can control who you're around.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now the fact that Georgia's wide open now, I know a lot more people are going to be a lot more careless than what they were before.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just put it on prayer. That's all I can do. And just take precautions for myself like I've been doing before, like wearing my mask and constantly hand sanitizing and constantly washing my hands as much as possible. And just praying that the people around me are doing the same thing when they're out with other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I've also noticed like there's the older generation and the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
The younger generation is just
out there with it. They don't care.
They don't care. And of course, I kind of feel like I'm with the older generation, of course, because they're older. They have an immunocompromised system because of their age. So
right.
I kind of have to be the spokesperson for the elderly, so to speak.
Yep.
But it's like, hey, listen, I've had to explain that we can't do what we not for right now. Mm-hmm. We on pause right now. So, and like I said, getting back to Georgia officially being open, I'm pretty sure that my family and a lot of my friends are like, okay, well, what's up now? We ain't in the pandemic no more, so
yeah, they got a whole vaccine now. Okay, just because they got the vaccine don't mean nothing.
Exactly, it doesn't. So it's I'm interested to see how it plays out. I don't think I've been saying that things won't go back to normal how they were pre-COVID, because I still think we're still in a different ballgame. We're still post-COVID, so that's definitely something to keep in mind.
I think we're going to be in a brighter future, but it's going to be a long time before we get to a point to where we understand COVID.
Yeah.
Because we're just in the beginning stage of it. Just because there's a whole a vaccine out there, like 3 different vaccines, doesn't mean like COVID's just going to go away like that.
Right.
It's only been a year, so.
Right. Exactly. And I think as a country, it took us too long to get to this point, really, to I won't even say some type of stable point, because I still don't feel like we're stable with it.
Right.
But it took us too long to even get to this point. I think if we had to shut things down from jump when it was like really bad, we'd be further along than we are now. Yeah. So have your friends and family pressured you to, or made you feel shameful about like not being able to do certain things, or just having the sanitizer, having certain stuff, kind of being super precautious? Have you been pressured or felt any type of way about it?
I've been feeling pressure, period. Just sickle cell alone. Yeah. That's every day, because your family members will never fully understand sickle cell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being the fact that COVID too, that's just the added pressure. I don't think they fully understand, like, okay, hey, he has a disorder or whatever, and plus COVID. Not saying the worst, wishing the worst to happen, but anything can happen.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just take the best precautions that I can to be safe out here in public, period, than to have you pressure me like, okay, you need to get out more, you need to go do this more. Nah, I'm sorry. I'll go out when I feel comfortable, when I feel ready.
Right. I've been trying to continue to do virtual events, but I know people are so sick of Zoom.
Being in the house and Zoom.
Being in the house.
I get it. I get it.
And summertime is coming up.
Yeah,
It's
but I want to show some
already
skin.
it's already feeling nice outside,
Uh-huh.
and people are just ready to go. So, um, what do you think as far as career wise? How do you think you'll be able to handle it going forward with us still being where we are, but trying to find some type of income and balance everything? How do you think you can go forward with it?
Well, now I think a lot of companies are realizing, okay, we can do virtual work now.
Yeah.
So they're adapting to that. Um, because before COVID, we really didn't have that. We were really just, okay, you have to be at the job site. It was no, okay, either you can be at the job site or you can either work from home. Now a lot of companies are saying, okay, you have the choice of either or. So working is still an option. Um, but I'm a firm believer of working for yourself and supporting black businesses. So I feel like me just being an entrepreneur myself, just continuing on my entrepreneur, because I don't see myself working for nobody anymore.
I think that's an awesome idea, and I say that often, especially for people who deal with sickle cell or any chronic illness, or just people, period. Um, when it's so funny to me because before I left my previous job, I was asking them, is there some way I can work from home? The work that I did, I could really do it from home. I didn't have to deal with people. I was on the phone all the time. And at that time, this was 2016,
Right.
they were like, we don't have any positions available. Fast forward to 2020 and everybody is working from home.
Like, come on now.
So it's so funny to me. I'm grateful that they didn't allow me to, and I'm not there anymore because that work was stressful in other ways. But I just find it so incredibly funny that, okay, y'all had to wait till this happened when I told you, you guys knew what my situation was beforehand.
Right.
I still had to take certain precautions at work, sanitizing my desk because I did have to share my desk with a night person.
Yeah, you never know how that person living situation might be.
Exactly. Yeah. So I had to make sure, I had my wipes to sanitize my desk, my mouse, my keyboard, like my whole little area.
Right.
So they didn't, I don't feel like they really understood that, and that's what kind of pushed me more into entrepreneurship.
Right.
Because I feel like other people don't understand what we go through to the extent that we need help,
Yeah.
I personally don't want to have to answer to anybody about why I'm out again, why I'm in the hospital again, what's going on.
Yep, that's the same reason for me.
And when, like, the last year I was there, I remember them messaging me saying, hey, you're almost out of FMLA hours. And at that time, I was just over it anyway. So it was like, well, if I'm sick, I'm sick. Ain't nothing I can do about it.
Right.
So do what y'all got to do.
Right.
Because I'm over it.
I think a lot of corporate America jobs are not understanding that, like, with our disabilities, because you have some that are visible, and then you have some, like, anarchies that are not visible.
Yeah.
So I appreciate them having the FMLA standards, but we can't predict when we're going to be in the hospital or how long we're going to be in the hospital. That was the case for my last former job that I left because it was this ongoing fight with corporate, and I just got tired. I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of just making excuses to y'all and just explaining to y'all like I can't control what my body does.
Yeah.
I can't control the stress. I can't control the weather. I can't control none of that.
Right.
So, and I can't control how long I'm going to be in the hospital.
Right.
My health and my well-being is more important than this paycheck. I'm sorry. Exactly. I got 2, maybe 3 other ways I can make some other money. Ooh, excuse me, some money. So, yeah, I just ended up left because I thought my well-being was more important than that paycheck.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Do you think that your family, or are you perceived, period, not even with just your family, do you think you're perceived in a certain way because you're not able to maintain a regular 9 to 5, or like how do you feel about that?
Well, you got to look at how the black man is looked at first of all.
Okay.
We looked at as leaders, as go-getters and stuff like that. So if society perceives us not as that, we looked as weak, all that. So we got to look at that first. From my family's perspective, I used to care so much about that, but then I had to think for myself. Like, I got to live for myself. I can't live for their standards. I got to live for my own.
Yeah.
So for me, I can cook. I can care less what my family members think. I know they care about me as long as they love me. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
As far as their standards or what they want me to be or how to be, I can't. I can't do that. I'm gonna be stressing myself out even more. Try to live up to their standards.
Agreed. It can be very stressful, especially as we were younger and kind of coming into adulthood.
Right.
Our parents and our families, period. They have their own standard for us or their own goals.
They want the best for their children, and I get that. I understand that, but you can't treat every child the same.
You can't.
You know, so one standard that you might have for this child, you can't have for that child.
Exactly.
You got to treat each child accordingly to whatever they're going through.
Exactly.
So.
And I think I don't think your mom is as old as my mom, but that generation, the baby boomers age range is just, they're set in a certain way.
Mind, yeah. And I respect my elders, like I respect their mind frame and stuff like that. But you got to look at this is a whole other generation now. Yes. We have certain ways to be able to do things now. We have more control over our lives, more ways of getting money, all of that.
Yeah. And, that was initially, when I first came out of high school, going into college and all this other stuff, it was find you a job, make sure you stay there till you retire and all this other stuff. And when I was younger, I remember my mom coming home complaining about, the stuff she was going through at work. And even that young, I was like, I do not want to be at a job where I complain every day. Now she says she loves it, and I think that's just hindsight talking.
My mom was just like that, and she recently just got a promotion, so shout out to my mom for that.
Nice, congratulations.
But my mom was working for her job for like 10 plus years. Didn't get a promotion. When she finally got it, she was happy because she was out of a place where it was just depressing and drawing to her. She would come home from work and just be like, I don't want to deal with life. You know? And I told myself, I don't want to ever be in that position. And post COVID, post pandemic, well, let me say pre, I was like that. I was like, man, just leaving work every day. Like, I wish I could just leave this job. But once COVID hit, I saw that it was so many other ways you can, get money, like you can create your own business, you can do this, you can do that, especially within the sickle cell community. Like, I look up to a lot of entrepreneurs out there, like you, Sickle Cell 365, Sickle Cell Apparel. I mean, I have y'all motivate me. Awesome. Let me just say that y'all motivate me.
And it's crazy because I would sit at my other job, and like you said, we have to take our health, and we have to make our health first priority.
Right.
And I really don't feel like I was able to do that at that job. Like I just couldn't. I wanted to maintain. I wanted to keep my own apartment, my own car. I wanted to do this.
That independence.
Yeah. But I couldn't because at some point I was in the hospital every 3 months.
Man.
So that started to weigh on me. My finances started to decline and just everything. I didn't want to go back home and live with my mom because what grown, you know what I'm saying? But I would just sit at work. I would leave my job and like put in half a day and then go do the other half, going to CHOA to talk to the teens there and the parents there about transitioning.
Right.
And now that I look back, it was just all adding up because now I do the workshops with the foundation that strictly talk about that. So I would just sit at work and think about how to make advocacy work for me. That way I could put my health first.
Right.
I could still do what I love. I could teach people about sickle cell. It just all came to me.
Yeah, to play on one. On your own time. And that's the best thing. When your job doesn't feel like a job, that's when you know you're truly happy.
Exactly. I got to turn it off sometimes. Because I talk to you a lot. So, I just be on the move, on the go all the time. And you're like, I'm going to need you to slow down, Mia.
Yeah, because you need that break. You
need
that break. You need your Mia time.
You're right.
And I had to realize that for myself. I was doing so much things for everybody else and then trying to maintain my personal life. I just had to take a break and be like, you know what? I'm physically and mentally drained. I need a break from everybody.
Yeah. And I have incorporated more days where I just like don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like I have to let my mom know, hey, today y'all on your own. Y'all figure it out.
Yeah.
Y'all figure it out. I'm not cooking today. I'm not. I just have to have my days where I'm not doing anything. I don't want to think about school. I don't want to think about advocacy.
Yeah.
I really don't want to think about sickle cell, to be honest.
You just want to think about just Mia.
Right.
Just what Mia likes to do, what she wants to do.
Exactly. And that's where I just spend those times painting and all this other stuff. But I think since I've left my last job, my family definitely has gained a better understanding of what I go through. I can say that they definitely understand why I do what I do now.
Right.
But they definitely have a better understanding of just what I've gone through. They don't know everything, of course. And even my mom, even though I live with my mom, I don't talk to her about pain every day. I can feel the pain every day, or you know, we're always feeling something, but I don't express that to her every day because I know
we hide
it can
so
be.
well.
Huh?
We hide it so well.
We do. And she really doesn't notice, and then I have to catch myself sometimes because I'll get upset with her, like, don't she, like, I'm not feeling it. But if I don't tell her, if I don't express it, then she really doesn't know. Sometimes she can see it on my face, or if I'm really quiet, not as talkative. If I'm just in the bed all day, she'll see it that way.
Yeah.
But if I'm up moving, if I get up and try to cook me something because I need to eat, I kind of think she sees that, oh, well, she's feeling better. Right. No, I just need to eat.
Right.
I just need to do whatever. So,
I mean, it's like I said, like, I think what it is, I think it's our parents, how they were raised and brought up. They just want the best for us, even with having sickle cell, which I understand. But you got to understand, they got to understand, we got to have our days. Yeah. Some days we just have our days where we just don't feel like being bothered. You know, or we just in pain where we just want to be left alone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And stop thinking that we're just lazy or just having some notion that, okay, well, there's nothing wrong. Because there can be something wrong. It might not always show it on our face or on our body. Right. It can be something mentally. Right. You know? Right. So I just think, I don't know.
And then my mom also used to make the comment, like, I see you do so much for, you know, other people or this, that, and the other. And I guess in those particular times, because I haven't heard her say that in a while, she kind of felt like I wasn't doing enough for her in a sense. Right. But a lot of times it's even like, even to do whatever it is, I'm pushing myself to do that. So to add on more in certain times is too much. So we've definitely had a better conversation, more communication. I think she has a better understanding than I can say maybe even 2 years ago. She has a better understanding of how I operate and things like that. So it definitely takes constant communication and uncomfortable conversation.
I was just about to ask you, like, how did y'all get to that point?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. At some point, I kind of feel like as I've gotten older, I got tired of certain things. So it was either like, okay, we either gonna have to talk this out to get to better, because better is on the other side, or I'm gonna have to stay stuck feeling whatever type of way that I'm feeling. So it was that feeling that kind of pushed me to talk about it. So maybe a few months ago, we were in a disagreement about something. And I really didn't want to talk about it, but I did want to talk about it because I was like, we just got to talk about it and be done with it.
Right.
So, you know, she was trying to stop me from having a conversation. I was like, no, let's talk about it and just get it out the way. I can't remember what the conversation was about, but it was moments like that. It was like, okay, let's just talk about it and be done.
Right.
Like, kind of get over that uncomfortable spot. Okay. And then I've realized once we talk about it, no matter how emotions are, it's relieving. It's a weight lifted. Okay. So it's not easy. Okay. But I think with age and with growth and maturity, it'll come to you. Like when you get tired of your mom or whoever it is doing a certain type of way, we kind of have to force them to change. Like I think we're at an age where we're starting to have to parent our parents, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
um, so it's definitely been troubling. Not troubling, but it's been interesting. Let's say that.
Okay.
But it'll come to you, and it will. And I know. Go ahead.
I think the hardest thing is their pride, and then they're wanting the best for you, versus what you know was best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because like for me, okay, so for me and my mom, we always butt heads on me being more active.
Okay.
And I understand that she doesn't want sickle cell to hold me back, quote unquote, say. But I try to let her know and understand, like, okay, it's not holding me back. I just have my limits. I know my limits, and I'm not going to over push myself, because I've been in that position before where I've over pushed myself, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It put me in the hospital. It put me in a bad crisis. No. So now I know what my limit is. I know when to say no, I'm not going to do that, or no, I'm not going to do this. Not even directly just saying no, or just finding a reason to avoid doing something.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right.
So.
And I think also once they see it, because I can say for my mom, I just had to act on it. I couldn't really say.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to be like, I just had to do it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an example. Or I'll just have to, if I'm not feeling it, I'll be like, I just say, Mom, I can't do it today.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yep.
And a lot of times I worry about how she'll take it, or how her being mad at me or whatever.
Yeah.
But some of those days when I just don't care how she feel, I'm gotta be like, okay, well, you figure it out. I just can't do it. Mm-hmm. So she's learned just from me implementing those things. She's learned to kind of back off and either go somewhere else or wait till I'm, level-headed and at a point where I can handle whatever it is that she needs from me,
Okay.
She'll be 70 this year. So I often
Congratulations, Mom.
So I often think about, she's getting older. She's mobile. She can get around, but, she's getting older. So I know she's going to need more help doing stuff. But at the same time, I don't age like a normal 37, 38-year-old.
Look, we 30 feeling like we 50.
Yes. So I have to, I have to kind of gauge what I can and what I can't help her with, She relies a lot on me, and I try to get her to be like, hey, my niece is here. She's very capable. Right. Ain't nothing wrong with her. Make her do certain stuff, teach her certain things that she'll need to know going forward, because we kind of shelter her. I say we. But I let my mom know, hey, either I can't deal with it, go somewhere else, or just wait till I'm able to help you or whatever. So, is that us? I don't think that's us.
So, can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, you can ask as many questions as you want.
Okay, so for the people out there who don't really have a strong support system dealing with their sickle cell, how would they go about that?
I tell people to, and it's a little bit easier with social media. Mm-hmm. I think you can definitely find your tribe on social media. Either that or just getting in touch with a local organization, community-based organization.
Right. Now,
there may not be an organization in every area, and I understand that, especially the smaller areas. But I really think social media is a place to kind of find your tribe, find your sister tribe, your brother tribe, your whomever. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of support groups, and you have to kind of gauge what support groups you want to participate in, because some of them can be very catty and be very negative.
Right.
And I think that's just people, period, not necessarily people with sickle cell.
Right.
That's just people, period. But if you have discernment, you can pick up on vibes and energies, you'll attract to those type of people in your corner.
Mm-hmm.
And the mentees that I talk to, I mentioned that to them as well about finding other people with sickle cell to talk to.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, we were the only ones in our circle
Right.
with
Yes.
sickle cell. Camp
Mm.
was everything.
Everything. When I say, for me personally, listen, I could not wait to June, July, and August because I get away from
Yes.
everybody that didn't understand what I was going through. So just being around my sickle cell, I consider y'all family.
Yeah.
For just 2 weeks, it made me feel comfortable because I'm around people that just like me.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that Atlanta sickle cell tribe is deep. And we all have that connection. We may not talk every day. We may not talk every week. But when we get together, it's all love,
Yes. We always there for one another,
Yeah.
no matter what the situation or the relationship. Because we just know, we understand that empathy, like, we go through every day.
Yeah.
So we already know.
Yeah. But like you said, it's good to have those people who understand to the degree that we're dealing with it, because we just around so many people all the time that don't get it and that don't understand. We hear comments like, "You in the hospital again? You sick again?"
Yeah.
Yes, again. This ain't going
gonna be
on
another time.
Right. Right. So it's really important to have those people in your corner.
Right.
One of my mentees, her grandmother has sickle cell.
Oh, okay.
And she said they had really never had a conversation about sickle cell, so to speak.
Right.
And with her grandmother being older, and I want to say she's from somewhere in the Caribbean, I can't remember what island.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like she kind of dealt with sickle cell different than here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
So I encouraged her to just open that type of communication with her grandmother, because she could learn something. We're the only ones in our family with sickle cell, so nobody else really knows what we go through.
That's what I was trying to figure out, because I was trying to figure out, like, how do I go about getting that understanding with the family members that don't have sickle cell,
Yeah. I don't know, and it really depends on them, because I have some family members who are there. Hey, how you doing today? How you feeling?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in the hospital, even one of my aunts, she'll, she's not as mobile as she wants to be, but she'll have her grandson bring me up some fruit if I'm in the hospital or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But she'll call, just checking on you. You need anything? She'll drop whatever it is by the house.
Yeah.
I had an uncle a couple of weeks ago. I was supposed to be cooking the day after I had left acute care, because, I don't know how to sit down sometimes. He's like, "You don't need to be cooking. I'm going to bring you some food." So he brought me some food.
Mm-hmm.
So he might not understand to that degree, but he knows she ain't feeling well. She need to sit down. She don't have no business cooking. Let me take her some food.
Right.
So I do have those cousins and aunts and uncles who will call me, "Hey, how you feeling? You need anything, blah, blah, blah." And then there are cousins that I just really don't hear from. You know what I'm saying? That just kind of be in their own world or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've learned to just accept it. I would want them to be more engaging and checking up on me more, especially if we were close as kids, and we're not as close now.
Yeah.
So that does bother me. But, I mean, it is what it is. People have gotten older and just got caught up in their own lives, and that's just what it is.
Yeah. Like, I know for me personally, my mom, she obviously gonna care because I'm her firstborn. That's mom regardless. But growing up, me and my brother and my sister, my siblings, like, we didn't have the best relationship, but we have a relationship, Yeah. But I think for me personally, I have a better sickle cell relationship with my brother, because with him, he willing to drop anything to go take me to acute care or to the hospital, period. No matter what day or time, he's willing to just be like, "All right, I'm gonna drop what I gotta do," and he needs me right now. So I don't know. I wish I could have a better support system, but I don't cry about it. I don't get upset about it. I appreciate my support system that are there for me, where it comes from my mom, my brother, my cousins, my close friends, you know. So I appreciate those people. And they know who they are. I don't have to say their names.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's me. Like, I don't want to bug certain cousins.
Yeah.
So I
Not
think,
even just cousins, just people, period.
yeah. Like, especially if I need a ride to Grady. Like, my mom doesn't drive at night. Me and my mom don't drive at night. So I know if I go to Grady, more than likely I'll be leaving. I'll be coming back home at night. So luckily my niece has her permit now, so she'll hop in the car as my mama's in there.
Not the permit.
You know, yes, we got her ready.
Lord,
So let's think. First, let me let you guys know about a panel that's coming up soon, the Sickle Cell Advocacy Day, with top ladies of distinction, the North Atlanta chapter. It's myself, it's Miss Kim Smith-Whitley, and Miss Micaiah Warren. And it's funny because I found out she has Sickle Cell 365, and we're Sickle Cell Awareness 365.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I'm like, sounds like a little collab, but let's see. So make sure y'all stay tuned into that. Keep watching on our Facebook page and Instagram so that you can get the Eventbrite link and tune into that. I also want to thank our sponsors, Mr. Dan Moore with the Apex Museum. Hopefully they are open and back up. I don't know with all the post-pandemic, I guess. But we'll see and keep you guys posted if we can have our open mic back there or if you can even go and visit. I want to thank Ms. Tanya Robinson with Kids Stop Daycare and Learning Center. Everything has been going a little smooth with everything, but she's still been going with the babies and the kids and everything and virtual learning. And we want to thank Black Professional Network. So, Aunt, I really want to thank you for joining me today.
Anytime.
It was always, like always, a great conversation. I hope some people took away like some good things to apply for themselves and their family. Just with sickle cell in general, whether it's a pandemic or not, dealing with COVID or any virus or infection or not. I just really hope that people took away some of the things that we shared today and can implement them.
Just put yourself first. Before
Absolutely.
anything, put yourself and your health first.
I don't have nothing to add to that because that's that's what it is. Anything else you want to add? Where can we get that hat again?
Sickle Cell Awareness and Clothing.com.
Sickle Cell Apparel.
Sickle Cell Apparel and Awareness.
Okay, Sickle Cell Apparel Accessories, and yeah, check us out. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and you can get the notifications for new shows. And we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. Bye.